What's good? Your boy Steven the Visualizer, back with another video in my new My Journey series. This is part 4. This is going to talk about the days immediately following my spiritual awakening, which was covered in my last video. So just want to thank everybody for the comments and people that have reached out to me on various platforms to give me feedback about the videos so far, and they're reaching some people, which is awesome, and inspiring some others, which is cool. That's kind of what I'm doing it for. So yeah, immediately after the spiritual awakening, so I talked about only the morning after last time, and I had psychic gifts activate, primarily claircognizance or clear knowing, where I was able to just get answers to anything that came in my head or any question that I asked. And I was eager to share a lot of information, and I did, and it really just, no one really cared. And that was like demoralizing at first, because I was like excited, So one of my friends actually was very receptive, and it was someone that I wasn't really that close to in my friend group, but he like DM'd me out of the blue, and he was like, hey, like, I'm really interested in like the shit that you're talking about. Like, it's really hitting for me. Like, there's been all this stuff happening, and like, this is like crazy timing for me to hear this. That was actually amazing that, someone kind of was on my level, because there were moments where I was like, maybe I'm fucking crazy. Like, I don't know, like, no one's really like vibing with this at all. Like, they're shunning me, they're looking at me funny. But the fact that this one person kind of came out of the blue, and then we literally just like DM'd all day and like bounced ideas off of each other, and like it was just like magic, really. Like, and that's when I really understood like how you can get profound spiritual kind of wisdom and signs randomly from people. And then it started happening with more and more people, like people that weren't even like down to hear anything I had to say. And I just kind of like stopped and just kind of like went back to kind of how it was with those family and friends. But they would just say random shit out of the blue that was like kind of out of character. And I'd be like, that's like, that means something. Let me like look into that. Like, people would just give me like random YouTube recommendations for shit that like I didn't even know they were into, that like they didn't even know they were into. And like those things kind of like added up. They were like breadcrumbs, if you will, that like led me to like further understanding of things that I needed to know. And that's also what the days following the spiritual awakening were like really about. It was like me starting to see signs and what are called synchronicities and everything. So synchronicities are like when you see like a similar thing come up in like a variety of different things. It's basically like punching you in the face, telling you like, look at this, like this is something that is important. So I would see like commercials on TV that would have like a phrase in it, and then I would like go like read a book like 5 hours later, and it would have the same phrase. And then I would like go to the supermarket and hear a song come on the like intercom, and it would have the same phrase, and you'd be like, what the fuck? Like 3 different things are saying the same thing. And then you look into that phrase, and it would like lead to something else further, and it would be like, holy shit. And then you would learn something like important for personal growth or spiritual growth or something. So this shit started happening all day, and it became like overwhelming. It was like I had to like write all this shit down and like keep track of it. Like, I'm like, okay, this is the second time I saw a fucking whale. I saw it on this kid's shirt, and I also, a random song came on Spotify that mentioned whales, and I'm like, what the fuck does this all mean? Like, where am I going with all this? What am I putting all this shit together for? But it all started working out and like just giving me further things to look into. And I really think like the days immediately following my spiritual awakening, my psychic gifts were at their most strong. I think I was given like a teaser of like what it could be like, because the clear knowing and stuff that I was getting before, I don't have that as full anymore. Like it used to be like instant. I used to just be able to like think of a question and immediately I would get the most fullest comprehensive answer in my brain that I can just like write out or speak out. Now it takes a little more work for me to get that. So, and I have read that other people have experienced kind of similar things. So if that is you and you're on this journey, don't be demoralized that maybe like your gifts aren't working like they did before. That's just part of the thing. And you can actually train yourself. One of my mentors in my Energy Healing Academy compares it to like training muscle in the gym. Like the more you use the gifts and different ways that you can kind of train, which is what I'm doing right now, you can actually awaken different gifts or strengthen the ones that you have. So yeah, it was crazy. So I kind of went back to work, and just since everybody kind of like no-sold what I wanted to tell them, I just kept it to myself. But the sleep deprivation really started catching up to me, and like after like 2 or 3 days of work, I was just like a zombie there, and it was affecting my performance, and all this shit was on my mind. So I decided to take a leave of absence from work. I went out on like short-term disability and was able to use like sleep apnea as the cause, and actually scheduled all of these things with all of these doctors because I was like also extra motivated. Before I was on this like self-improvement kick before the spiritual awakening where I was like, I got to get better. And it was like part of my day, but I still did like regular ass shit and hung out with my homies and went out a little bit. But after the spiritual awakening, I kind of like completely isolated, and I like super hyper focused on all the things that were on my big list of shit I didn't like about myself. And I found even like better approaches and ways to like start improving. And I was just like, it was like a machine. It was literally like the scene like in the Matrix when Neo gets jacked in and learns like Kung Fu and all these other things. Like that's what I was on. I was like, I'm going to get better like at everything and like fix everything. And like, I like recommitted myself to the gym and weightlifting, and like the progress with weight loss that I made in like just like 2 weeks. I think I lost like 25 pounds, and I like gained significant muscle as well. Like things were just happening crazy for me, and I was just super committed while I was doing all these doctor visits. Like my day was pretty much like 2 or 3 doctor visits a day for all these different things. I just wanted to get really all my health in order because I started looking at my body as a temple, and I was like, listen, I have all this profound knowledge. I really got to get my shit in order because, like I mentioned in previous videos before the spiritual awakening, I was in bad fucking shape. Like I thought I was going to die of a heart attack because I was just completely out of shape. Like all kinds of things were going wrong. So I went and got everything checked out and had surgeries scheduled within like a couple weeks for different things. Particularly to get the sleep issues sorted out. I like hyper sped through all these doctor referrals and got things like expedited, got all these meds to treat all this other stuff that really started working like near immediately and fixed things that I had been dealing with for a long time. So it was really like a kick in the ass to like get my life together, which was lovely. Yeah, so I took the time off from work. And then I just began seeing the signs. And then also, I think last thing I'm going to talk about is I didn't understand how to parse the signs at first. And I started seeing like almost everything as a sign, which is kind of like delusional, It would be like, I would get a random email and I'd be like, oh, this is a sign from God that I should do this. And there was one kind of sequence in particular that taught me a really big lesson about things. I got an email one day, like my iPhone was like shitty. It was like an iPhone 11 at the time last year, which was like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old. And it was like just messing up. The battery was fucking up. And like, I really needed to upgrade. And I got like an offer from Verizon. I'm on AT&T to like switch, and they would give you like a free watch and everything. And I was like, this is a sign from God. So I went through with it, and it ended up being like disastrous. Like, I like ended up getting like a counter offer from AT&T, and I switched back within like 24 hours. And then I had all these issues with like my phone signal, and like people couldn't text me. And then they started like Verizon started charging me all these like fees and that, and like they thought my service was over there. I literally had to spend like an hour a day for like 2 weeks on the phone with like representatives to try to get everything cleared and like return stuff. And then they claimed that I didn't return things, and it was like a big mess. And through this whole thing, like I kept being constantly told like, don't worry about it, like be cool. But like my frustration kept like bubbling up. And every time I like cleared one of these hurdles, like my pride started hitting too. And I was like, fuck it, like if this is a test, like I got this, keep sending me these tests, like it's nothing. Like that's what I took it as. I took it as like a gauntlet of things that I was meant to get through to like prove something. And I learned a hard lesson during that, that I didn't fully learn until months later, but it has to do with manifestation and the power of your words, particularly negative words. Is that what you speak, you bring back in your reality. So when I was like clearing these like frustrating ass situations, like, and be like, that's nothing, bro, like bring some more onto me. What happened? Next day some other shit went wrong, and it came back, and I had to, you know, waste 2 hours of my day worrying about like getting charged with all this shit, and you know, talking to customer service people and being frustrated about my service going out and in. And yeah, you can really speak ill and bring that shit into your life. So you have to be very careful about how you speak, particularly like self-deprecation. Sarcasm is really bad. And then just like having like worst case scenario thoughts or speaking that shit into existence. If you think it, and then more importantly, if you speak it, especially if it's negative, there's a really good chance that you're inviting that shit into your life. So if that's the one thing that you get out of this video, yeah, take heed on that. Like try to retrain your mind that when these things come up and you want to say some negative shit like, I'm an idiot, or like, I'm always going to be broke, I never have any money, or something like that. Or this shit always happens to me, like only bad things happen to me. These kind of things, when you say these kind of things, like you basically place an order with the universe, and they're like, okay, that's what he wants. And they send more of that shit to you. That's kind of how shit works. I know that sounds crazy, but the energy that you put out is what you get back. It works the same way in a positive way, but it's not as easy to get back what you want. That's why, like, you know, you can say things like, I'm going to be a millionaire, or I'm going to be highly successful. There's a lot of work that needs to go into that before your order is placed. But negativity is very easy to kind of manifest into your life. So be careful with that. Yeah, so that's all I really got today. That was kind of the few days right after the spiritual awakening kind of shit that I was going through. Again, thank you for the support. If you enjoyed the video, a like would be appreciated. It would help out with the algorithm and make sure that this video gets on some other people's timelines. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If you have any comments, questions, if this resonates, or you've been through anything, or you're going through anything right now, hit me up if you have any questions. Yeah, I'd love to chat. Anyway, thank y'all for everything. Peace, love, and light.